leave the football, Mark, and let's go to the basketball and talk Namwongo Blazers. Because the last time we were here, we discussed the series before it ended, and you made that very big call going into Game 4 when the Oilers were leading 2-1, and thought that the winner of Game 4 was going to win the series.
Yeah.
And the Nam Blazers...
And the reason I said that, Mark, is when you've led the series 2-0, and the team close back to 2-2. Game 4 is like, for me, it's the equivalent of Game 7, because the winner of that game, if a team comes from 2 down to 2-2, they have the momentum.
Yes, they have the momentum, yeah.
When you're 2-1 up and you win Game 4, you've broken their spirit.
Yeah,
3-1 up,
Any chances, the thought of a comeback and
yeah.
But they did. They
did it. And let me just, before you go forward, Mark, I want to take you through the roster of the first Oilers Championship in 2013 to December 13th, I remember. So there was Ramadan Aru. Remember him?
I remember very well.
That team had Henry Mulira.
Yes.
That team had Sami Kalwani, now in the US.
Yes, yeah.
That team, it had, Grace, there's Grace Squeezer. Grace Squeezer was one of the guys who was... although was a bit part player in that roster. You had Mohamed Yusuf, who I think was the point guard at the time. You had there was Andrew Okello. There was it was a team which was built from nothing, and to think that they won the first championship. Of course, eventually they brought in Kami Kabange and a few guys who gave them some bit of skill and experience, and manager was the coach. That was 4,341 days ago. And let me tell you what has happened in that time. From the last time a team, before Nam Blazers won the championship, the last time a team not called
City Oilers were Ghana
champions. So many things have happened. The coach of Manchester United was called David Moyes. Now, it's so many years since Moyes coached Man United.
There have been 8 others after him.
8 others after.
In that period, United have had 9 months.
Moses Magogo had become for president for barely 3 months. Then you had...
He's now into his 3rd term.
He's now into his... Is that 4th term? Actually.
4th term, actually.
He's now into his 4th term. Stephen Kiprotich was a double marathon champion, Olympic and world marathon champion. I'm talking about 2013, when we had the champion, not called City Oilers, in the Ugandan basketball. In the Uganda Super League, then, I don't know if it was still called the EPL.
No.
I think it was still the Uganda Super League.
Yeah.
We had a team called Aram Roses. I don't know if you remember it.
I remember them very well.
I'm just giving you the context, how long City Oilers have dominated Ugandan basketball. The late Major General, was it General, Major General? I think General Arunda Nyakerima had just been appointed Internal Affairs Minister. And then, if my memory serves me right, the top scorer of the league, of the Ugandan league, was a gentleman called Herman Waswa for KCCA. I think he must have retired. I don't know why he is. Herman Waswa, you remember him?
Yes, I remember him, yeah.
And then, finally, Mark, the hit song at the time from one of the hitting songs of 2013 was Nkubukinze by Irene Intale. And of course, there are other details. That's Major Itonga died, Margaret Thatcher died in that year. But that is so long ago. It's been generations from the last time. That's how City Oilers have dominated Uganda basketball. So when you saw that outpouring of emotions from all basketball fans, all the fans of Falcons and Power and name it.
Everybody,
KU.
Apart from Oilers fans themselves,
they all became Blazers fans.
Even of defunct teams like Blue Jackets, they were supported.
Blue Jackets,
And forgotten ones like
Chanting Lion, yes. But it was a beautiful story, Mark, and you've got to give credit to the Oilers. Let's first talk about the Oilers, because we're going to talk about the Blazers anyway. That dynasty, Mark, it may never be emulated in our lifetime. They did so many things, and because Oilers have raised the bar somewhere, even Nam Blazers right now, who are the new champions of Ghana basketball, they know that to maintain their mantle at the top of Ghana basketball. They've got to do some of the things Oilers have done over the last 10 years, and they've got to do them as well, if not even better, which I think is a good thing, because if Uganda basketball is going to get to the level where the fans want it to be, you want us to have a formidable rivalry, but also some elements of professionalism, which Oilers have indeed laid down over the last decade or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just it was very good for the game of basketball. Even die-hard Oilers admitted this to me on the side and said, look, we wanted to win this, but this is good for the game. That phrase "good for the game" was told to me just a few minutes after the final whistle by an Oilers, a die-hard Oilers person. So you can understand.
I was there, so I know.
And this is a person who has been there since 2013.
Yes.
You remember, you had him yourself.
Yes,
who was part of the very first championship and has still been there. So
yes.
It was good for basketball. Some of them described it as the game resurrecting and everything. Oilers are going to bounce back, and they're going to bounce back hard. From the words of Grace Kwizera, I mean, Haji and Hassan were missing, conspicuously missing from the touchline on Game 6 day when Blazers toppled them. But Grace Kwizera was there, and he promised that they're going to bounce back hard. So they're going to go back to the drawing board and do their homework and get the team back in there. Now Blazers, it's up to them to maintain that momentum on and off the court. On court, they did so well. One, of course, of the things that I didn't agree with, Mark, was the naming of Joel Okogie as the MVP.
I did agree with that.
What they do is Joel Okogie was MVP for the regular season.
Yes.
He was the most consistent player there. And the guys, I mean, like perhaps like Tony Duleba didn't play all of it.
Yes.
And he got injured at some point. But I think what FUBA do is that they name a playoff MVP.
Yes, another finals MVP.
They should be naming a finals MVP.
Like the NBA does.
And the finals MVP was actually Tony.
Was Tony Duleba.
Yes,
it was Tony.
While Okogie still had better stats than him.
Yeah.
Duleba is the one who swung this.
I mean, the critical plays were about Tony.
And he's the one actually who swung that series.
Yes.
In their favor, because they lost the first two games with Okogie playing very well, putting up the numbers and everything. Then the man kits up, he suits up for game 3, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
It turned on there. Everybody else, he inspired everybody else into their best games. The former Oilers players, I mean, in spells, game 3 and 4, for example, I thought that Ivan Mwezi was outstanding as a backup for Tony. The last 2 games, I thought they were properly dominated by James Okello.
Yeah.
James Okello was really dominant inside the paint for games 5 and 6. And
when Okello is in the zone, when Okello is dominant, it is going to be very hard for his team to be beaten.
He wanted this so bad. His body language, what he might never admit it, his body language, he wanted this so bad.
So bad.
They were putbacks. They were even 3-point plays. He even sank a 3 off the glass
at
a very crucial time in game 6.
I thought, Mark, and I mean, there were many turning points in that game, because Oilers took a 10-point lead, I think, early in the second quarter.
Of game 6.
Of game 6. Fad Baid, I think was instrumental in that run.
Because he hit, I think he sank 3 threes in a row at some point. Yeah.
But Oilers, I mean, Blazers wiped it out in quick time. In no time. And actually, they finished if I remember right, they finished the half, I think, leading. So
they were so determined, because I remember,
they wanted it bad.
Duleba kept leaving the court injured, getting into the locker room, getting whatever his treatment was, and he'd come back on the court, and he was playing coach both on and off it.
They wanted this ring so badly, Mark. But I mean, this is the moment. How many rings have Jimmy said? 11.
Jimmy says 11 because he counts the one from Knight Riders as well.
Actually, he says 12.
12 because he counts the one from Knight Riders. He won with power as well.
Won power as well. So
it was huge for them. But Mark, I'll tell you, they also had some other unsung heroes that need credit outside of the Oilers OBs and Okogie, and one of those was actually the big man, the Nigerian, Anthony Chukwuemeka.
Yeah,
he had to battle with with Moses Make, Big Mo. He had to battle with Chuma. He had to battle with all the bigs.
Even Lakshide, yes.
Yeah, the bigs that Warriors threw at him. And he came out trumps. I thought that he had very many key plays at key moments. Actually, one of the reasons, the biggest reason actually, I believe that Nambles has lost game 2, having kept it close, was because of the call that got him fouled out, with a few minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
They couldn't compete after he had left the court. And so he was huge that way. I mean, the other guys popped in here and there. Innocent Ochera, Arthur Wanyoto. They kept coming up with big plays at different times. Peter Obleng was huge, especially in the last 2 games. Games actually from 4, 5, and 6. Obleng's athleticism came to the fore, and he played with abandon, and he actually had a very, very big impact on that. But we have got to give credit to Nyeko, Escodata on the bench. This is a man
I was going to that.
He was disparaged so much.
The man has played 2 finals. He has 1 ring.
Yeah, he was disparaged so much. Everybody thought he was out of the depth at that level.
Yeah.
But he did a great thing. One of the things for which I credit Escodata for was how, especially in the last 2 games, but I think maybe 3, but mostly the last 2 games, how the Blazers limited the output of Chad Bowie. Because Chad Bowie was killing them in the opening 2 games. And then Kat Vekshida, Curry, killed them actually also in game 2. And they limited the Chad Bowie's shooting, his 3-point shooting. He had to work for his points. He was getting into the paint, driving, taking it to the hole, and he and Wiltshire are actually the 2 guys who had made Oilers competitive in this series and in the playoffs, where we thought that Oilers would not have a chance. They're the ones who, if Oilers had won the ring, it would have been down to them.
Could it be that, I mean, Chad Bowie and Vic Scheider was very important for Oilers. Without them, I don't think Oilers were even in the finals.
No.
But
they wouldn't have got to the finals.
Could that have been the undoing? Because do you feel that there was enough sufficient team chemistry with these inclusions, these inclusions, person inclusions, to compete and match against non-Blazers?
No, I didn't feel the chemistry was to that level. And earlier, when I watched them in the Summit series, in the semi-finals, and then in the opening 2 games of that final, I thought everything was okay. But that was because Oilers were on top and all. When Blazers stepped up and the Oilers had to be tested, you saw the problems. Was there enough trust for teammates? I'd like to give Kat Vekshida and Chad Bowie the credit for actually, because even at the words giving, you could see how happy they were for their teammates and everything. I thought that they were so happy for Fayed Ballet getting all those trophies, even if he didn't have the ring. But I thought they took it upon themselves to actually get work done when they thought there was not enough offense coming from the team. There were forced shots, there were forced drives
Mark,
from both.
Let me put you on the spot, Mark.
Yes.
Let me put you on the spot. Because we know one of the reasons that compelled these guys to leave the team, the 4.
Yes.
Ivan Moise, Tony Duleba, James Okello, and Jimmy Nebu, were that they felt they were, despite all the years of dedication and service that given to the organization, they were not being given the kind of treatment that was accorded to the
every time foreign players showed up, especially when Oilers were going into Ball or like the players are
apparently some of the players were getting the kind of wages some of the Oilers players don't get in a year.
Yeah, absolutely. That
is bound to make 1 or 2 people unhappy.
Yeah.
Inevitably in
and these guys were not happy and they left. And the guys who are there, perhaps they feel privileged to play for Oilers right now because they got the opportunities opened up.
Yes.
But it eventually tells.
Because I've spoken to some of them and they understand why the other guys acted the way they did.
They did, yeah. Yet for them they stayed.
Yet for them they stayed.
Yeah, but the thing is, for them they might be appreciative. But what happens is that even the pressure on the guys that are brought and paid more tells.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying that there was a point when Kat and Chad tried to do things all
On their own.
because they knew they felt they owed it to the guys who brought him in and
Yeah.
were paying them big dollars,
Yeah.
big money to actually deliver. So that affects the chemistry of a team.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that is one of the things, thankfully, that NAM Blazers are aware of. And because
where does
you and I,
yeah.
you and I had a chat
Yes.
with their CEO.
George Ncha.
Not
Yeah,
their CEO,
president.
but their president.
Yeah.
George Ladsden.
George Lasden Ncha.
Ladsden Cha.
Yes.
We had a chat with him, and they're cognizant of this. So they're saying they're trying to be as organic in their growth as is possible. They maintain the core of Ugandan players,
Yeah.
even in winning this championship. Anthony Chukwua, the Nigerian, was the one who contributed big. The other Nigerian, Eneazi, he did not play that much.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Joel Okoji is Congolese. But everybody, all of those other players were Ugandan. When they went to the road to Bal, they brought some in.
Yes.
But you remember that John Miller and Joseph Obasa, John Miller, the American, and Joseph Obasa, the Nigerian, joined them. So did Jackson Ray Jr., the other American who joined them at Bal. What I've heard, and I've seen that they've actually recruited going into the Elite 16, because they're going into the Elite 16 at the end of this month.
Yes.
In Nairobi.
Yes.
What I've heard is that they've also brought Javon Mooring, another guard, is a 6'2" American guard who's crafty and has played in Africa and in Asia. But what Jazz told us is that if they're going to be bringing players like that, they want to cut the mercenary culture
Yes,
out of
yes.
NAM Blazers. If they're going to be bringing players like that to play at the Bal, they want them to be playing in the league as well.
Yes.
To play with the Ugandan players
Yes.
all throughout, contribute to the league
And
the
that,
title.
and that helps the league and it helps
Yeah.
the Ghana game.
Yeah.
When you bring foreigners and then they play in the league, instead of just enlisting players for Bal.
For Bal, yeah, or for playoffs.
Or for playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, like happened with Oilers. So
Yes.
you need to embed these guys, so the chemistry, they build the chemistry more, the rapport more, and you need to be cognizant of how you treat them vis-a-vis your local
yes.
heroes.
Oh, yes.
Because if they pay credits to
If the disparity is too much,
too much, then they're
it's
going to get problems. Yeah.
become counterproductive.
So NAM Blazers, those kids are laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they got in excess of 100 million shillings collectively because they got lots of money from sponsors who had made their commitments.
Yeah.
I
And the CEO Daniel Muto dropped 10 million of his
Yeah,
own,
10 million,
apparently.
yes.
There's
I've read reports that Incha, on the day when they won the championship, Game 6, he said, "Today's my birthday, and all of you are getting $1,000 from me."
$1,000 each.
I know this man has already
from
been.
the entire team, yeah.
It's already on the player account.
Simon Mwemaze, I think part of the sponsors, I think it's Cornerstone Asset Management, also sponsor the team.
Yes.
Dropped money. It dropped another 10 million,
Yes.
which had been a pledge.
Yes.
So they've picked up on this money, and it will
They
continue.
got some money from Samanga Solutions. They've got sponsorships from Motorola.
They've got a sponsorship from NRG,
NRG.
our hosts of Back to Mark here.
So, I mean,
It's-
can I be an NAM Blazers player? I want to join the
So I
roster.
can pick up on some of that money. Listen, I don't.
No, but listen, I think the reason I supported the Blazers is because basketball was not going to benefit from Oilers winning an
11th championship in a row.
Right now, you're going to get fans back because I know some people had actually stopped watching basketball because it seemed like an Oilers procession. Yeah, on end. Now you have a new sheriff in town. You have the Blazers. Oilers are going to regroup. You can be sure about that. Blazers must do things to ensure that they stay at the top.
And they will, yeah.
And then all the other guys.
And it's going to happen with Nasa Serunjoji, the former president.
Yes.
His team saw me.
Yeah,
Just rest assured.
Exactly.
That they will be stronger.
Exactly.
They will be
So,
stronger as well next
yeah.
season because it's going to
And
train.
then you have the
And they
Jaguars
really they had one of the best players in the league for me this year, and they're going to do the same. And then also you expect that the tradition at UCU will continue. Nick
Without-
Teresa and his program.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt.
And so at least you have 4 teams you know.
Yeah.
can be very competitive up to that level.
Yeah.
And that is what we need.
Yeah.
Because that's what you have, say, in the Rwandan League.
Yes.
Where you have APR and you have Rage Life and you have all of these teams. So you know that you have at least 4 or 5 teams
Yeah.
with a core of very good players who can make for very competitive playoffs and
I think
a worthy champion. And give you a worthy
I
champion.
mean, we have every reason to look forward to the 2016 NBL season.
Yeah, and we're also hoping that Nam Blazers can actually go even past the Elite 16
Yeah.
and get into the bar proper.
Yeah.
Because it's still there. They're going to be, I mean, Nairobi Stars, the Dar City, the teams they're going to find in that region when they go to Nairobi at the same MBB from South Africa.
And
These teams are recruiting
interesting.
big.
Listening to
Adorani from Burundi.
Listening to Ncha, I mean, the Blazers have a list of sponsors they didn't even know about. You know, so people were wondering whether Blazers could actually compete at BAL. I think
They can.
From what I said, I think they can.
They can, yeah.
And they're going to prove a couple of cynics there.
Yeah, because I think the perspective from most people, the perception, not perspective, the perception from most people was that money was only coming out of individual pockets.
Yeah.
Like Nchaz,
Yeah.
there's talk of the CJ and people like that.
Yeah.
But they have corporate sponsors.
Yes, they do.
We just talked about
They do.
Motorola and NRG, for example.
They do. They do.
And
So-
I'm thinking there's 1 or 2 others that will want to jump onto it. Hey, by the way, Britam.
Even Britain.
Britam are sponsors of Nam
Britain are
Blazers.
sponsors of Nam
So are
Blazers.
so are NSSF.
So Nam Blazers,
yeah.
I'm coming to pick my forms to register in the NBL next season as one of your. I'll be the 6th man of the Blazers.
Yeah, there's an outside chance, by the way, and we'll tell you guys. That outside chance on Mark and I will be in Nairobi just to see 1 or 2 of their games in the Elite 16. But now, on that note, I think we need to sign out. Too much Blazers, too much Cubs, too much Cranes.
I mean, the Blazers have earned their time in the
Yeah,
sun, so.
it's enough for the week.
I
We'll be
mean,
back.
after a dictator has been in charge for that long, you've got to give the Blazers their props.
Absolutely. Right. Thanks for tuning in. Please come in there. Go onto our YouTube, subscribe, comment. Let's have a chat, continue our chat. But we also are present on other social media platforms. You will see us on TikTok and on X as well. You can join us there. Enjoy Back to Mark. We are churning out quality sports conversations week in, week out, and you need to be part of them.